Good morning, internets. All right, it has been a wacky week. I have not been making videos in the mornings because there has been so very many big changes going on, very few of which I can talk about at this moment. But within the next 7 days, there's going to be some big announcement, guys. So please stay tuned for that. But what I want to talk to you about this morning is there are legislators in Sweden that are looking at electrifying their roads to charge electric cars while electric cars are driving on them. So this is a really weird and kind of cool concept to me. They want to put these electrified rails, basically electrified rail systems in the existing roads. And the idea is that an electric car user would fit their car with this sort of probe, this arm that would come down and link up with the rail, and then get charged while it's on the go. And this is a crazy concept to me, but this is their idea for tackling emissions and increasing the range and practicality of electric cars where they are. And now they've done the math on it, and it costs about €1 million per kilometer to electrify a road, which is a lot of money. But they actually think it's going to save money in the long run because, ooh, big truck. They think it's going to save money in the long run because that's going to be way cheaper to build that infrastructure than it is some of the other options that they've looked at. Apparently Sweden's already looked at electrifying their roads. They wanted like a sort of like the San Francisco trolley system where the power comes from wires overhead and somehow attach cars to that. Which, I mean, why not? Why not look at that as an option when, you know, those trolleys work? A lot of places in the world use them. And so it makes sense to consider that as a solution. But that was actually more expensive than this electrified rail system that they're looking at putting into roads. I haven't been able to find anything yet on how this arm is supposed to work. There's a lot of different manufacturers that produce electric cars. And how is there some sort of attachment that works universally across all of them? Where does the attachment go? Because in my electric car, I have a charge point right up here, the driver's side fender, and that's where I plug in at. So does the arm come down? Would it attach there in my charge point there and go down into the road? Or I don't know. It's all very interesting. What do you guys think about roads that charge the cars as we drive? That sounds pretty crazy to me. Whenever I talk about stuff like this, things that are going on in Europe, whenever I talk about electric infrastructure changes, there's always a lot of extremely reasonable people who comment on the videos that say that the problem with things like this is that people are hung up on having their own independent form of transportation, and that people need to suck it up and deal with rideshare and public transportation. They are the most economical option. They are the most environmentally sound option. And of course, to all of you who feel this way, you are entirely correct. Carpooling and rideshare and public transportation, things like city bus systems and stuff like that, absolutely the most economical, clean way to get around. That's absolutely it. And there are places in Europe where it's less common to own your own car and more common to, a lot of places, more common to utilize public transportation or some other means of getting around. And do I think that we should be doing that here in America? Absolutely I do. Do I think that we will? Oh, goodness, not anytime soon. Maybe in major metropolitan areas, I could see that, there are cities where people live where you don't, necessarily need a car. Not everybody in New York City needs a car. Not everybody in Seattle needs a car. There's a lot of places where people don't, they stick to their own individual borough and they get around doing what they need to do on buses and subways and trains and taxi cabs and things like that, because it's just too expensive to even own a car because you can't pay for the parking space, let alone your own living space. Right now, I am stuck in morning traffic on the 215, going west all the way across the Las Vegas Valley, as I do every single day. And I'm out here with a whole bunch of people in their own little individual cars. Most of us are one person to a car. And it's it's the same frustrating grind every day. When you look at how many people are out here and how many empty seats we have between all of our cars, yeah, we could reduce the amount of cars out here by, I don't know, 4/5, really. I mean, most of these cars have 5 seats and 1 person in them, so unless I've got that math wrong. But then, you know, people would all have to be going to the same place. There's a lot of reasons that doesn't necessarily work, but just looking at the raw numbers, like, yeah, that we're all cruising along this highway stuck in the same traffic jam. Like, it makes a lot of sense to give up our autonomy and our, you know, give up a measure of independence in order to you know, think of the greater good, to think of what's more practical. But I just don't see people doing that. Now, this electrified road system in Sweden that they're talking about putting in, I don't know that it outright solves the problem, but it's a really neat approach to the transportation issue. And yes, we need electric cars, but how do we get electricity to those cars? How do we make electricity available for those cars? I think it's really interesting the way that they're trying to work this thing out. I do want to learn more about this arm that you're supposed to fit your car with, and it's supposed to detect when you drift off of the track and retract itself. So I don't know if this is only going to be in, you know, Swedish car manufacturers are going to have these things, or if it's going to be an aftermarket thing that you can fit to any electric car. You know, what if you have an American-made Tesla? What if you have, you know, a Chevy Bolt? What are you going to do? I'm very curious about that. Has anybody read any more about this than I have? I'd be interested to learn more. And with that, I think I'm going to just kind of leave it there. And I just, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. There's a lot of big news happening for this channel, for my personal life, for my professional life. There's many changes coming, and I promise you guys I will get back at the regular videos and tell you more about what's going on in the next couple of days when I have some things firm up. But for now, things are going to be exciting. I can tell you that. Things are getting very exciting, and big changes are coming. So please stay tuned for all of that goodness. Today is Friday, and it is Las Vegas, and you know me, that means I will be at the car show on Eastern tomorrow morning, and that is on the corner of Eastern and Richmar in Henderson, out in front of Twin Peaks restaurant. And that's our car meet. Come on down. Doesn't matter what you drive or who you are, we want to see you, we want to see your car. If you want to come and attend and you don't want to show your car, that is quite all right. I'd love to see you anyway. So come hang out with us at the car show on Eastern, and that is from 7 to 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning. And yeah, I think that's going to about do it, y'all. So I hope everybody's had a really good week, and we're all going to get through Friday, and it's going to be a good day. She said, hoping, earnestly hoping that today is a good day. I'm going to do my best to make it one. Yeah. The temperatures come down a little bit. We're only getting up to 70 today instead of 90 like the last couple of days. So I'm looking forward to that. And tomorrow the weather's going to be beautiful. So come see me at the car show. And that's going to do it for me this morning, guys. If this is your first time watching the channel, thank you so much for being here. Please consider subscribing right over here. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Here's some other videos I think you'll enjoy right down here. My name is Catherine with EVs of Nevada. Please remember to like, subscribe, and smile.